Hey everyone, good morning. A little bit of Wisdom Wednesday here for you. I wanted to share a quote that I was just recently reading. It goes like this: "We make men without chess and expect from them virtue and enterprise. We laugh at honor and are shocked to find traitors in our midst." I want to talk about courage today. I'm reading a fascinating book called Profiles in Courage. It was written by, at the time, Senator John F. Kennedy. He wrote the book between 1954 and 55 when he was hospitalized for a spinal injury that he received during the war. Now, President Kennedy was I would say, probably addicted to history. He studied it all the time, and he professed himself as not a professional historian, and he even admits to some of the errors in his own work, but really touts the talents of the people that were on the research team, that were designing the book. And in this book, he posts a letter from a 9-year-old boy. And the 9-year-old boy is relentlessly scrutinizing himself, his character, and his work ethic. And I want to read this letter to you. Think about a 9-year-old in your life. And then think about this letter I'm about to read. And think if they speak like this. And I'll tell you who wrote it after I read it to you. "Dear sir, I love to receive letters very well. Much better than I love to write them. I make but a poor figure at composition. My head is much too fickle. My thoughts are running after birds' eggs, play, and trifles, till I get vexed with myself. Mama has a troublesome task to keep me a-studying. I own I am ashamed of myself. I have but just entered the 3rd volume of Rollin's History, but designed to have got half through it by this time. I am determined this week to be more diligent. I have set myself a stint to read the 3rd volume half out. If I can but keep my resolution, I may again at the end of the week give a better account of myself. I wish, sir, you would give me in writing some instructions with regard to the use of my time, and advise me how to proportion my studies and play. I will keep them by me and endeavor to follow them. With the present determination of growing better, I am, dear sir, your son." This was written by a 9-year-old John Quincy Adams to his father, John Adams. In the first 50 years of our country, there were only 2 presidents that only served 1 term. That was John Adams and his son, John Quincy Adams. Now, was that because of political ignorance? Was that a result of their just inability to lead properly? Or was that an unrelenting commitment to what they believed, to what they held true, to what they thought was good and upright moral and leadership behavior? And today you might be really upset about the leaders we have in our lives. You might be upset at the leader you have as a boss. You might be upset as a leader you have as a president. You might be upset about all the leaders. But what's more important is not the heart of the leader that's leading you. Right now, it's more important what is in your heart leading your life and leading your marriage and leading your children. This morning, I erupted and yelled at a woman in Hawaii because our credit card was declined because it was a transaction in a different geo placement, and we paid, or we don't pay, but we ask for that security to be on there. And I yelled at a woman for doing her job. That was a moment of test. And courage, as C.S. Lewis put it, is the sum of all virtues at the testing point. And I failed the test this morning. And that's the indicator that I'm talking about. Whether you don't like the leaders that we have in charge right now or in charge of your business or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. They're there as a result of slow and steady little decisions that have come along the way. Now, I'm not talking about the accomplishment of becoming a leader. I'm talking about their character as they lead. That has been a slow drip leading to the kind of character they have. And so is yours. So is mine. I'm building a person here. I'm building a creature here. And the quote that I read to you earlier comes out of a book called The Abolition of Man by C.S. Lewis. And he has a chapter in it called Men Without Chess. And he says the chest is the sinew. It is the middle person that makes a man, makes a woman a woman. The chest is the liaison between what he calls the visceral man and the cerebral man. The visceral man is nothing but appetite, animal instincts, carnal. The visceral man is nothing but his intellect, rational, always thinking with his brain, never with his heart. Cold, calculating, and absolutely void of any emotion. The chest is the thing that keeps us understanding what objective truth and objective reality is. The chest is what we demand out of our leaders and what we should be demanding out of ourselves. This is a 9-year-old John Quincy Adams. You think he'd grow out of it. You think he'd grow out of what you might call this masochistic, just unjustified scrutinizing of himself. But no, at 45, he writes this: I am 45 years old, 2/3 of a long life have passed, and I have done nothing to distinguish it by usefulness to my country and to mankind. Passions, indolescence, weakness, and infirmities have sometimes made me swerve from my better knowledge of right and almost constantly paralyze my efforts of good. You think he'd grow out of that? Mainly by 70, you think he'd be done hammering at himself. But no, he's not. And finally, at age 70, he's already distinguished himself as a brilliant Secretary of State, an independent president, and an eloquent member of Congress. He was on record somberly saying, my whole life has been a succession of disappointments. I can scarcely recollect a single instance of success in anything that I've ever undertook. Now, you might become president of the United States. You might be the president of your business. You might just be a stay-at-home parent. Are you gonna scrutinize everything you've done till the end of your life? Now, does that mean that this man is a masochist, self-deprecating? It's not real humility. This is a man that honestly is self-absorbed. Is that what this is? Or is this a man that says, have I given the little more that I can give? Have I given just a little bit more that I can give? I don't think so. I think I could have done more. I think I could have been more. I think I could have accomplished more. What an incredible example of leadership than a man publicly displaying his torment over the role that he had. That it pained him how much more he thinks he could have done. I don't want to be a leader that says, you know what, I did enough. I think I did enough. No, there's always something more that we can do. And I don't think this is ultimately falling in terms of regret. I think this is powerful in terms of what it means to define courage in your mind. Are we quitting that easily? I think today, just kind of assess what's the little tiny reactions that you're having that are leading to the character that you're building. Not just the accomplishments you have. You might be a very accomplished person. I don't know. But your resume has no indicator of the kind of person you are at 2 a.m. in the morning. And as a parent, as a leader of a family, as a husband or as a wife, at 2 a.m. in the morning, that determines, that reveals who you really are. When the bad news comes down the pipeline, and it could just be something as simple as a credit card declining, that right there is a testing point. So assess those micro testing points, and you'll start to see the picture emerge of who you're becoming. And there's always time. There's always time to reverse it. Always time to start training yourself to be a person with a chest. So I hope you can say, you know what, I'm going to strengthen my chest today. I'm going to go do some chest exercises and realize that at the testing point, I can respond in a virtuous and a kind and a determined manner. I hope this was helpful today. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again for listening and watching. If you have any comments about what I've said, or if you don't agree with what I'm saying, just leave it below and we can dialogue about it. But I look forward to seeing you guys again. Thanks. Bye.